In cement manufacturing, 70% of the cost is energy. That is the bucket that we are addressing all the time. It's either thermal or electrical. Being the fully integrated cement manufacturer in the country, we have two brands, Sanstha and Mahaweli Marine, which are the best cement brands in the country. For the last 15 years, we have been winning this most valuable household brand in the construction industry award for Sanstha. I think being a fully integrated local manufacturer, there is one advantage because we have about 85% local value addition. So there is some control over what we manage. Because in cement manufacturing, including clinker and cement, 70% of the cost is energy. That is the bucket that we are addressing all the time. It's either thermal or electrical. On the thermal side, the primary material is coal, which is a standard all over the world, except in the Middle East, they use oil because it's cheaper. So now we actually have the technology and the know-how and all the investment we have made to replace 45% of our coal usage with the waste from other industries, like waste oil, anything which has a energy value. Even all these rice husk, sawdust, sludge from the boilers from the apparel industry. So most of the cases we get paid also. So there is a energy income partly. So overall our thermal energy cost is much lower than any other. Of course there are no competitors in Sri Lanka. But then the other part is electrical energy, where currently we use the grid power. But we are planning to go into solar. And also there's another technology to actually called waste heat recovery, where these kilns generate a lot of heat. So you can capture the heat and run a boiler and generate your own electricity, at least about 30% of our requirement, which is being done in other countries in the group. We know the technology. It's a matter of making an investment. Of course, with this proposed electricity tariff increase and all that, we can justify the investment also. So you will have a quick return on the investment, because currently, if you look at the investment required for these projects, and when you calculate the rupee per kilowatt hour, still, we are still don't see a huge advantage over the grid power. But if the grid power cost goes up, I think the next couple of increases probably we will go into one of these, either solar or waste heat recovery, which is actually part of the whole process. So that is how we keep. In addition to that, we invest in modernization of the plants, the new technology. Of course, heavily investing on people also, training them, because we are a group and we have a lot of countries which have much higher technologies being used. So we are exchanging people, and so that is a clear advantage we have, because all our competitors are local. So they don't have this, the global knowledge to be used, since we have been part of even a larger group during Holcim time. A lot of people who have the knowledge to do things differently. So that's how we keep ourselves competitive. Luckily, we are the only one who has access to the local raw material or limestone. So unless somebody invests in a kiln, we will have this cost advantage, at least on the local production part. In addition to being the fully integrated cement manufacturer in the country, we have two brands, Sanstha and Mahaweli Marine, which are the best cement brands in the country, and which has a long heritage of, I think, over 58 years And that is where actually we command a premium. People are willing to pay a premium because of the strength of the brands. For the last 15 years, we have been winning this most valuable household brand in the construction industry award for Sanstha. Also, these two brands have evolved over time, and I think although there had been the change of ownership several times, still that traditional names are the most top of the mind brands in the country, which is always proven with all this every year the brand equity index. We have been having a much higher. Actually, there was a time it was very close to Coca-Cola, which was 9 or something, but you'll have to keep on investing. But still, we have the highest brand equity in the country. So we will protect this, we'll make it even better. So that's one of the visions for INSEE. I would say a compliance issue, because our group, parent company is a listed company in Thailand. They have committed to some ESG goals 2030. Then as a group, they have committed to these goals, and they have cascaded down to each country depending on where we are, certain targets. We have several pillars on the sustainability side. Carbon dioxide emission comes under the climate and energy bucket. So others are like biodiversity, water consumption, CSR, and things like that. So actually, how we have committed to these goals and how we are trying to achieve is very interesting, because this is, again, as I mentioned before, carbon dioxide emission is a result of clinker production, because this coal burning process is the biggest carbon dioxide emission. So what we are trying to do, as I mentioned earlier, by reducing the usage of things like coal, by substituting them with the waste from other industries, we actually reduce quite a lot of carbon dioxide emission. Then the volume of clinker that you use in cement is another indicator of carbon dioxide emissions. So we have a lot of new products. If you look at the traditional OPC, they call ordinary Portland cement, is 95% clinker, 5% gypsum. So now we have brought it down to about 68-70% of clinker factor. We call the clinker factor. The more you reduce the clinker factor, reducing your carbon dioxide emission. Less coal you use, you are reducing the carbon dioxide emission. So that is how we actually do. In fact, we are proud that we are actually ahead of the local regulatory thresholds for carbon dioxide emissions, because we are a part of a group. Our group has much stricter targets for CO2 emissions than even the local authorities. So, and also our contribution to the group is also quite, compared to some countries like Thailand and Indonesia, we are better, because this waste co-processing business is substituting a much higher percentage of coal usage, as well as in the product development side, we have developed and introduced some much greener products than some of the other countries at the moment, so which actually contributes to our ESG goals. On the other side, the biodiversity and all that, we have this. Of course, when you explore or mine limestone, you make big holes, but we do rehabilitate them. And we spend billions of rupees to do the rehabilitation and replant. And some of the areas are actually, once they measure, having a better balance of biodiversity than even prior to mining. So that is the way we are. We are getting support from a lot of like IUCN, International Union of Conservation of Nature, then some of the local entities to do these things. So yes, you have a cost. We have to follow much stricter guidelines compared to our competitors. But to circumvent those, that we have some innovative way of doing it. And also we have the know-how and the technology to do it also. Eye to eye, we call it actually collaboration because it's not only used by us. This is basically a state-of-the-art laboratory facility where you can test and do research and do a lot of new products where you can actually contribute to the development of greener products. So that is why we are eye to eye. So we have invested. This is one of the best in the Asia. You need to invest a lot in the machine, so the equipments and the buildings and so on. So this is the center where we used to do a lot of research and develop new products. And if I give you an example, in the past, even to make a simple cement sample testing, you'll have to send the sample to Singapore. Sometimes it takes months to get back. So the whole process is very long. So here we have all the facilities. Whenever you went to make a new product, we do it quickly and test it. And also, this is shared with all others, distributors or our business partners, even our competitors, government agencies, researchers, students, engineers, PhD students who come and do research. So this facility is open to everybody. And also, we do commercially also some testing and all that for third parties. So this is actually our commitment to bring the industry to the next level, because every time we take the lead to introduce new products, then we go and talk to the SLSI and get their approval for different products. Then we get the commitment from the rest of the industries. And most of them use this, not only us, as a facility to do research and develop new products. So this is a very unique center or a collaboration space that Sri Lanka has to support the construction industry in the country. And we are trying to actually bring the whole industry into the much higher standard where other countries has, developed countries has. Not yet there, but we are actually progressing well. I think we are doing this looking at the future and also the country's future goals also. We also want to be much more environmental friendly, less harm to the environment. And also, currently I mentioned earlier that we have this 80% retail market, 20%, but this will quickly can change, because in other countries actually the bigger portion is the B2B, the industrial sector, where you will see a lot of international involvements in the construction. They will definitely demand much more greener product because they have their own G goals and SD goals and things like that. So anticipating that, and also we have to contribute to our group goals. So we have been doing this research and introducing new products. Of course, it's a challenge, but then recognizing the value of that, the better products and the contribution to the environment performance improvement and so on, people are willing to pay a premium. That is where, if you look at the current prices, we have, with some of the local competitors, we have about 4,000 rupees a ton price gap. But still, people are buying because they know the value of it. And the product quality as well as the service behind it, with this eye-to-eye collaboration and all that, we have a very good technical support service. So that is where actually the B2B segment will come into play, because they are not looking at only the price. They look at a lot of other things. Unfortunately, because of the current economic situation, the retail sector are very price sensitive. In the past, they used to pay us a premium because we have been winning this best brand in the housing sector for the last 15 years. But now it's a bit of a challenge in the retail sector, but we know it will shift. If the country has to grow, it has to shift. So anticipating that shift and knowing that we will not have a major problem in negotiating prices because these B2B customers are actually the last thing they are talking about is the price. They come out with the required specifications, the products and the support services and so on. Then of course, if they are satisfied, they are willing to pay a premium price. So this is how we keep the margin pressure, manage every product in the B2B or the retail. Our products are having a premium price, and we balance the two. We are not letting the market share drop too much, but still with every competitor, we have quite a big price gap. We have a premium price. People are willing to pay. Even retail, to a certain extent, they pay. But beyond that, because of these other... But if the economy grows and people become much wealthier, or I would say at least being able to save some money compared to now, they will still pay a premium for a better products. So that's how we keep the margin pressure away. And we are sure that the future will be, people will demand the greener products because they have to. Because if you know the apparel industry, some of the buyers, they even look at whether you are employing child labor or whether you are buying product where the safety standards are not followed. So they go to that extent. So that will come into the construction industry also someday. So unless you are prepared now itself, it will be very difficult to shift suddenly. So that's what we do in that area. INSEE as a whole, that we have this vision to be the most respected and most sought after company in the construction sector or in the cement industry. In that, EcoCycle plays quite a major part also. If I remember how we started this is just with, collecting few waste tires to replace this expensive coal with some other discarded material. But since we had the know-how as a group, we now have actually developed into a much more sophisticated operation where we can treat anything which some of the other manufacturers are struggling to dispose. So by doing that, as I mentioned earlier, that we are contributing a lot to our SD goals or the ESG goals, the carbon dioxide reduction, and also we are supporting the entire country to solve their waste problem also. So if you look at now, one of the advantage, actually nobody has it, the kiln is generating about 1800 degrees temperature, which is about 1/3 of the sun's surface temperature. So there is no artificial incinerator which is better than a kiln. A kiln is made for a different purpose, but that is the best natural incinerator in the world to burn anything without a trace. Of course, you'll have to invest to prevent emissions going into the atmosphere and all that. So this service cannot be matched by anybody else. So we do a huge service to the rest of the country to achieve their goals. Now, for example, most of the multinationals, like all their waste products are given to us. Because they know in the past, they used to give it to all these landfillers and all that, but your shampoo sachet can be, expired one can be sold in a grocery in Anuradhapur or somewhere, which is a huge risk for a multinational. Now, we actually manage most of the top multinationals' waste and in the apparel industry also, which is a huge service, which actually we have two segments in the EcoCycle. One is kiln-based. Kiln-based is all this burning stuff. Then we have the non-kiln-based, where we provide other services. We also have a laboratory there to do all this waste testing and all that for the other industries. Non-kiln-based in the sense, now for example, if you, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation or something, if they want to clean up their tanks, because after using it for a long time, you have sludge in the tanks. We say, okay, we will do the cleaning, but we need the sludge for ourselves as a fee. So we can use the sludge to replace coal. So this is one of the most important operations in the country. Not only these things, some of the things that we have done to the government, like, there's a huge problem of all these drugs confiscated by the police. After some time, they disappear. So we have now burnt about 3 tons of cocaine from time to time without a trace. So you can 100% make sure it will never go back to the market. Then we have burnt tons of containers of ivory, which was being illegally, transshipped through the country. So those cannot be done by anybody. So it's very much appreciated by the government. But only thing that we want to see is a tighter regulations by the government. Then people have to come to us to do this. For example, when we started collecting tires, they want money. But in another country, actually, you have a problem to dispose a tire, where you will even pay somebody to take it. So things like that. Then there is a concept of polluter pay. So that concept is being developed, but it's not has come out as a regulatory thing from the government. If you make the regulations stricter, actually we can contribute more. People have no choice but to come to people like us, asking them to manage their ways. So this actually plays a bigger role, and year over year their contribution to the whole INSEE performance is also getting bigger and bigger. So our goal is to actually make it 3 times more profitable over the next 3 to 5 years. The vision for INSEE of course, its ownership is not local, but it's a local company where we contribute a lot to the local economy. If you look at our operation, there's about 25,000-30,000 people are depending on directly, indirectly as well as. So we want to be the most sought after the company in terms of the products you produce, the services you provide, as well as even a employer in the country. At the same time, contribute to the local economy as well, because the construction industry contributes a fairly large percentage to the GDP in the country. We can be one of the biggest contributors to the country's growth, as well as be the most innovative producer and most cost efficient, as well as most attractive organization to work with. So that's our vision for the INSEE company also.